Squiz Kids acknowledges the traditional owners of the lands on which we podcast, the Turrbal and Kombumerri people.
Squiz Kids! It's your daily news fix. Fun, free, fresh.
Hello and welcome to Squiz Kids Today, your fresh take on what's happening in the world around you. I'm Christy Kijarina. It's Wednesday, April 22. In Squiz Kids Today, Oreos, Exhibit A in court. A beakless bird becomes the boss, robots outrun humans in China, and a Queensland bushie rolls the dice. That's what's making news, kid style.
The Lowdown.
Have you ever spotted a special deal at the supermarket and thought, hang on a second, is that actually cheaper? Well, that question is now at the centre of a big court case here in Australia, with supermarket giant Woolworths facing off against the consumer watchdog, the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission, or the ACCC for short. The ACCC's job is to keep businesses honest, make sure companies don't trick customers and that prices and advertising are fair and truthful. Think of them kind of like the referees of shopping. Yesterday, they told the court that they think Woolworths may have misled customers by promoting prices dropped deals that weren't really discounts at all. One example they're using is a family packet of Oreos. The ACCC says the pricing sat at $3.50 for a really long time, then jumped up to $5 for just a few weeks before being advertised as dropped to $4.50. So even though it looked like a discount, shoppers were actually paying more than originally. Woolworths strongly disagrees, saying rising supplier costs meant that the higher price was fair and the discount was real. And not just Woolworths, the ACCC is running a very similar case against Coles too. With cost of living pressures hitting families hard, the outcome of these cases could shape how discounts are advertised across Australia and whether shoppers can trust those bright, bold price tags. Speaking of price tags, a life jacket that was worn by a survivor from the world's most famous shipwreck, the Titanic, has just sold at auction for a jaw-dropping price. It went for about 1.3 million Australian dollars, or just over 900,000 US dollars. The life jacket was used by first-class passenger Laura Mabel Francatelli, who escaped the ship when it sank 114 years ago last week. If you didn't catch yesterday's shortcut to the Titanic, what are you waiting for?
Spin the globe.
Each day, we give the world globe a spin and find a news story from wherever it stops. And today, we've landed in Aotearoa, New Zealand, where a bird named Bruce is pecking his way to the top, quite literally. Bruce is a kea, one of the world's smartest parrots, known for being curious, clever, and just a little bit cheeky. But Bruce has something that sets him apart. He's missing the top half of his beak. Now, you might think that would leave him in a flap, but nope, Bruce has flipped the script. Scientists studying the keas at the Willowbank Nature Reserve have found he's actually the alpha male, the top dog or bird in his group, using his lower beak like a tiny sword. He crouches, lunges, and even charges at rivals, a little bit like medieval jousting. And here's the wild part, he didn't lose a single showdown last year, not a one. That means that Bruce has first access to food, plenty of grooming from the other birds, and top-tier bird boss status. Now, normally at Squiz Kids we wouldn't exactly cheer on stabby behaviour, but in Bruce's case, this is a story about adapting, innovating, and proving that sometimes what makes you different can make you unflappable. I was wondering when that mum joke buzzer was going to come in. We've stuck a link to photos and video of Bruce in action in the episode notes.
Believe it or not.
Imagine lining up for a big race, stretching, getting in the zone, and then spotting your competition who is made of metal. In Beijing, China on the weekend, more than 100 humanoid robots took on 12,000 human runners in a half marathon. And some of the robots didn't just keep up, they left the humans in the dust. The fastest robot finished the 21-kilometre race in 50 minutes and 26 seconds, much quicker than any human on the day, and even faster than the official world record for a half marathon, which, by the way, is 57 minutes and 20 seconds. And even more impressive, many of these robots weren't being controlled by people. They were running themselves using sensors, cameras, and clever algorithms to navigate. Rewind just 1 year and it was a very different story. At last year's event, most of the robots were falling over, overheating, or just giving up. Only 6 managed to finish and the fastest took nearly 3 hours. So this year's race, yep, it's a huge step up.
Pop Culture Corner.
What do you get when you mix cows, a cattle station, and a board game? A big idea straight out of the Aussie outback. Out in Western Queensland, a self-described old bushie named Steve Hoare has created his very own board game, inspired by the sport of camp drafting. Now, if you're not familiar, camp drafting is where riders on horseback separate a cow from the herd and guide it through a tricky obstacle course. Part skill, part speed, and part don't let that cow get away. The idea struck Steve while he was staring at a drawing on a station kitchen wall. And before he knew it, he was up late jotting down ideas and sketching out how the game might work. In his version, players move around the board competing at camp draft events while also dealing with the challenges of an outback road trip. Now, testing a board game isn't easy when your nearest neighbours are miles away, so Steve teamed up with designers and tapped into online communities to help bring the game to life. It's still early days, but one thing is clear, Steve's given it a proper crack.
Time for the quiz.
This is the part of the podcast where you get to test how well you've been listening. Question number 1. How many years ago did the Titanic sink? Great listening if you said 114 years ago. Question number 2. What type of bird is Bruce? Bruce is a Kia. That's a type of parrot. Question number 3. An Aussie bushie created a board game based on which outback sport? Is it A, camp drafting, B, cattle crafting, or C, draft camping? Excellent work. If you said A, that sport is called camp drafting.
Shout-outs.
It's Wednesday, April 22. Today is Earth Day. On this day, way back in 1970, something pretty extraordinary happened. 20 million Americans poured out into the streets, parks and towns across the United States to say, we love this planet and we want to look after it. That was the very first Earth Day, and now it's gone global and has been happening for 56 years. It's also a special day for these quiz kids celebrating a birthday today. Scarlett from Lura, Olivia from Mount Nathan, Luna from Joyner, and Addison from Wynnum. And belated birthday shout-outs go to Sylvie from Fanny Bay, Nora from Woodford, Grayson from Curry, and lastly, but definitely not leastly, Marcus from Glen Alta. And if you're wondering, classroom shout-outs will be back next week. Well, that's all we have time for. Thanks for listening to Squiz Kids today. We'll be back again tomorrow. In the meantime, get out there and have a most excellent day. Over and out.